Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ria and I'm very glad to share my 2025 bullet journal setup with you. This year I want all my planning to take place in one journal, and that's why I'm also gonna set up some bookish pages and my running log in this journal. So without further ado, grab a warm drink, grab your journals, and let's start planning. New year, new journal, and I am using a Dingbats journal. This is from their Earth collection and has 100 GSM paper. I really love the beautiful light blue color, and I think the underwater design on the cover is very cute. For all of the lines and most of the writing, I'm using Tombow mono drawing pens. I'm starting with the future log. The first 4 pages of the journal are already titled Future Log. Because I'm doing a layout where only 2 months fit on one page, and I want to include the next 12 months, I had to extend my future log by 2 pages. I want my future log to be functional and clean, but to make it a bit more colorful, I added some color with my Stampin' Up! Stampin' Right markers. Moving on to my 2025 cover page. As you can see, I'm having difficulties making the twos look as similar as possible. I tried to think of them as sisters and not as twins. For the numbers, I'm using a very bold black font. I'm outlining the numbers first, and then I'm gonna color them in. But don't worry, I'm gonna add some color in a bit. As it is a new year, I'm adding some fireworks to this page. I sketched out an oval circle with my pencil first, and now I'm going in with my brush pen and I'm drawing curved lines starting next to the middle of the circle going outwards. I'm adding some smaller lines and 2 dots to the ends of every line to make it look more realistic. As you can see, I'm adding some more black lines to give it a bit more dimension. Finally, I'm using some colored pens to fill in the white areas between the lines. Now this is gonna be my year at a glance page. I'm again keeping it very simple. I'm just writing down the months and the dates of the year in black, and I'm highlighting with some brush pens. Here you can see that I added some downward lines to the fireworks. With the level 10 live method, you have the opportunity to reflect by rating different areas of your life from 1 to 10. Based on your rating, you can color in the boxes. I'm doing this once a year, and I think this is a fun way to keep track of progress and to see in which areas I might need improvement. I love the song I'm Doing My Best by Kelsey Ballerini, it's one of my favorites, and for this next page I wrote down the chorus of the song. I love the message, especially next to the level 10 live spread. I'm doing a faux calligraphy here. That means I'm making every downstroke a bit thicker to make it look like real calligraphy. I really love how the fireworks on the 2025 cover page turned out, and so I added some to this page as well. Now moving on to the first book-related pages. These pages are about to become my 2025 reading log. As you can see, I'm drawing a lot of lines that might look very confusing to you, but don't worry, I will give you an example of how I track my books in a bit. I already read one book in 2025 that I'm now adding to my reading log. Next to the number, I write down the title and the author. And beneath, I'm adding the reading dates. Then I'm going in with my brush pens and I'm adding more color by coloring in the squares based on my ratings out of 5. My goal this year is to read more books than last year. I believe this can be very easily accomplished, as I only read 13 books last year. This year, however, I'm very ambitious, and I'm gonna leave the next 2 pages blank in case I need to extend my reading log. I saw the spread idea on Pinterest, and I absolutely loved it, so I'm adding some bookshelves to my journal this year. When I finish reading a book, I'm gonna come back to the spread, and based on my rating, I'm gonna color the book in. As you can see, I chose yellow for 1-star ratings, orange for 2-star ratings, for 3-star ratings I'm using green, blue for 4 stars, and for my top books of the year I'm using pink. I'm very much looking forward to the page getting more and more colorful throughout the year. I'm also adding some plants, a lamp, a candle and an hourglass to the shelves, because those are things on my real bookshelves. This next page is also gonna become more and more colorful during the year. This is where I keep track of the amount of books I read each month, and also the amount of pages. With each finished book, I add a square to the bar chart. I also added a little quote to the bottom of the page. Moving on to the series tracker. This year I decided to reread some of my favorite series, one of them being the Shadowhunter books by Cassandra Clare, and another being the Akata books by Sarah J. Maas. As for the other 3 series that I'm adding to the spread, I haven't read any of those, except for the first Chatter Me book, of course. But this year I want to give those series a try. This is also an idea from Pinterest. I love the idea of creating a bingo with bookish themes. As you can see, I'm creating a 5x5 raster for my bingo spread. I'm outlining the squares with my brush pens to make it more colorful, and later when I accomplish one of those categories, I will color in the entire square with some more colored pens. I used the space at the bottom of the page to add another bookish quote. Moving on to my A to Z challenge page. I'm using different colored brush pens to write down all of the letters of the alphabet. I'm going in with my black pen to add some cursive letters on top of the colorful capital letters. Let's start with the Book of the Year spread. This is where I write down my favorite book I read each month. And at the end of the year, I'm gonna narrow it down to 6 books, then to 3 books, and finally I'm gonna figure out my favorite book of 2025. Now it is time for my running tracker. As for the running statistics, it's basically the same bar chart as the book statistic page. I'm adding the months of the year to the left-hand side of the page, and after every run I come in and color in a square. I also left some space to track the kilometers I ran each month. So at the bottom of the page I added a spread that keeps track of my progress. And I'm gonna add my 5K, 10K and half marathon PB times at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year of 2025. This is where I also keep track of the runs and the kilometers I ran in total this year. Moving on to my fitness plan for the first quarter of the year. This is a 12-week program, so I'm starting by adding all of the weeks. This plan includes 1 Pilates session, 1 yoga session, 1 strength and conditioning session, and 2 runs a week. Each square symbols one of those sessions, and let me tell you, the coloring in after a hard session is incredibly satisfying, and it also motivates me, so that's a plus too. Now we are on to the last spread, which is my winter bucket list. One of my goals this year is to create as many beautiful moments as possible and to make the most of each season. Therefore, I'm gonna make a bucket list for each season of the year. And I'm gonna try to tick off as many, if not all of the things on those lists. I'm adding some fir branches to the page using my green brush pen. And then I'm gonna go in with my black pen to give it more definition. To make it look even more winterly, I added some icy blue circles and some snowflakes. The last page I just titled Memories. This is where I can come in and write or doodle some things that happened in winter. For example, places I visited, things I did, songs I listened to, movies I watched, etc. And that's it for my 2025 bullet journal setup. Thank you so much for watching. You will find all of the products I used linked down below. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up. Have a wonderful and creative day, and we will see each other hopefully very soon. Bye!